Welcome to Airplay Escape. Please consider subscribing to my Patreon account for the full audiobook. Thank you for your support. Football, the strongest center in history. Episode 61, The Brutality of Professional Football. However, the next round of league games, for Martinez, is not known to be good or bad. September 22nd, the 8th round of the league. Paris Saint-Germain away to face current league top-placed Montpellier. In this game, Ronaldo started again, but after 90 minutes, Ronaldo, who had scored before, was muted in this game. He was most tenaciously blocked. Montpellier didn't just have center-backs in Ronaldo. Their defense is three-dimensional and all-round, not only guarding the center, but also guarding the crosses from the wing, in short, cutting off the link between Ronaldo and his teammates, allowing him to cross with a header when he pulls back. Anyway, away from the goal he has no threat. Comboer saw Ronaldo do nothing in the face of the opposing defense in the dugout, and he knew that the Montpellier coaching staff must have put a lot of effort into studying Ronaldo. In fact, the shortcomings of Ronaldo are obvious, and it is not a secret that you can know it with a little research. At first, Comboer gave Ronaldo a chance, but he only wanted to rely on him to get through this period without Gamero, who thought that he completed the task very well, and the excellent was beyond Comboer's expectations. 5 consecutive games have scored and 7 goals have been scored. That's an outstanding result, but that hat-trick made him the center of discussion in France, while also exposing Ronaldo's weaknesses. Facing opponents who are tall and strong, good at heading, but slow to turn around and inflexible, Ronaldo still chooses to use his head and body to fight. What does this say? It shows that he can't do anything else. Such a striker is simply too good to defend for coaches who study tactics all day, for the experienced and capable central defenders of the big teams. Seeing that Ronaldo played more than 70 minutes, unable to do anything against Montpellier's defense, and had no other way but to be brutal, Comboer had to replace him. Ronaldo, who was substituted, walked to the sidelines, with his head down. The narrator said, Ronaldo was replaced. This means that his dream of scoring in 6 consecutive league games has been shattered. Quite a few media and spectators have been interested in this game to see what the young people who scored 7 goals in 5 league games and rose to the top of the top scorers list are capable of. The thought of Ronaldo's performance disappointed them. They only saw a brute guy who didn't do anything but be tall and strong and have a good header. His performance was disappointing. The previous magical aura seemed to disappear overnight. Against the defenders of Montpellier, he seemed powerless. Daniel Rio, a commentator on French national television Channel 2, was relentless in his criticism of Ronaldo's performance. Ronaldo sat on the bench, and Arello, who was also sitting on the bench, touched him. Hey, Ronaldo, don't go to your heart. It's normal, if you score every game, how can you let everyone else live? Ronaldo, knowing that his friend was comforting him, forced a smile on his face and said to Arello, thank you, I know this. After saying that, he turned his head and looked at the game going on the court in amazement. Looking at him like this, Arello was also helpless. He didn't know what to say, so he had to sigh. The team is still behind, his friend is not doing well, and he continues to sit on the bench. What a bad luck today. For the first time, Ronaldo experienced the brutality of professional football, even if he had performed well, scoring 5 goals in 3 games, scoring every game and scoring a hat-trick. Once this game is not outstanding, it will be replaced without hesitation. What are the previous honors? He can fully imagine what the TV commentators are saying, and what those media will write after the game. As long as you have a bad performance in a game, you will be scolded to the point of blood. That's professional football. I am too smooth sailing, and I seem to imagine the world too simply. He thought of his father's excitement when he called his father to announce his good news after he completed his hat-trick. Now he is glad that he can't see the French league in the Celestial Empire, otherwise his father and mother, who are full of hope, see this game in front of the TV, and I don't know how disappointed he should be. In the end, Paris Saint-Germain lost 0-1 away to Montpellier. Their winning streak was ended, as was Ronaldo's streak of goals. Comboer looked at Ronaldo, and the big man walked into the tunnel after the game and disappeared in front of everyone. The televised camera originally wanted to take a close-up of Ronaldo to see what the beautiful striker was looking like now. As a result, Ronaldo did not give them such a chance. Comboer didn't know if it would hit Ronaldo. However, he felt that for Ronaldo, an occasional setback was not necessarily a bad thing. His previous development was too smooth, and it made him, the manager, feel a little unreal and a little worried. Today's incident made him breathe a sigh of relief. All he had to do now was wait quietly for Ronaldo to respond. He didn't believe that Ronaldo was the kind of person who would be hit by a setback. He had heard the story of Ronaldo coming to Paris Saint-Germain, a young man who came to Europe with a backpack for his dreams and went to try out clubs one by one. Such courage has made many people admire. So what surprising answer can he hand over this time? Episode 62, New Skill, Heavy Cannon. Ronaldo knows exactly what his problem is. At the end of the day, he has too few weapons at his disposal. As long as you leave the restricted area, you are basically useless. That being the case, the opponent's defense can be very targeted. Football, after all, is a team sport. Defending Ronaldo is simple, just don't let the opponent complete the cross from the wing. Everyone didn't know about Ronaldo before, so he scored a few goals. But now, actually from the Toulouse game, the coaches have been constantly adjusting their tactics against Ronaldo. In the end, the practices of several teams were integrated. Montpellier succeeded in restraining Ronaldo, and this will also be a model for all teams to defend Ronaldo in the future. Ronaldo knew that if he couldn't change the situation, when Kevin Gamero returned, he would have no chance at all. He needs a more diverse offensive approach. He needs more weapons, and not just headers. Bang! In the training copy, Ronaldo is training for long-range shooting. His shot was muffled on the post. After the click, the door frame was trembling slightly. This kick was extremely powerful. Strength, Ronaldo thought thoughtfully. If there is anything else he has to do besides headers, that is. The power of the shot is great. This is of course quite normal, and Ronaldo's size and muscle strength are placed here. He threw out with all his might, and if he hit other players in the face, I was afraid that it would cause an accident on the pitch. If only the accuracy of the long-range shot was raised a little more, Ronaldo thought to himself. At this point, he finally figured out what he would order after leveling up. He still has a point of skill points, but it has never been useful, because the skills of the Airmaster have been filled. The skill of the King of the Forbidden Area, combined with the skill of the Air Lord, made Ronaldo very incomprehensible in the Forbidden Area, and the skill of Bear Power is not very eager in Ronaldo's opinion. Because his body is already strong enough, continuing to strengthen his physical strength is just the icing on the cake. What he needs now is the skill of delivering charcoal in the snow, a skill that allows him to maximize his shooting power. Heavy artillery, skill description, plus 10% shooting from outside the box. The highest level is level 5, and each upgrade course increases by 10% of the total mileage. Just one header as a scoring weapon is too weak, and if you can still shoot through Yang's long-range shot, you can make the opponent defenseless. In this way, in the restricted area, he is an air hegemon, and outside the restricted area, he is transformed into a battleship, heavy artillery bombardment, all invincible. Thinking of this, Ronaldo immediately pointed this skill to the heavy artillery. His own shooting power is very strong, and if he can improve his shooting percentage, it is actually difficult for the goalkeeper to save the ball he shoots. This can also fully exert the power of heavy artillery. It's just that the hit rate is still too low now. Ronaldo himself tried. If he shoots from a distance outside the penalty area, the probability that he can hit the goal frame with full force is definitely not more than 10%. Even if it is added to the bonus of 10% of the first level heavy artillery, nor more than 20%. 10 shots on goal, only 2 can hit the goal range. Plus there is a goalkeeper blocking. This probability is still a little low, so must upgrade. Even if you are tired in training dungeon mode, upgrade as soon as possible. There was not much time left for him. Kevin Gamero has already started to return to training. Although not yet with the team, Ronaldo believes that his return will be a matter of time. If you can't make changes before Kevin Gamero returns, you'll have to rely on luck to turn over. Combuware would definitely trust the experienced Kevin Gamero more, and not the current characteristics of the self that have been thoroughly studied. And in the next round of the league, you must play, and must score, because the opponent in the next round is Lyon, the team that humiliated itself and humiliated its own father. If you can't get it back in the arena yourself, Ronaldo will not forgive himself. To this goal, Ronaldo began to increase his training at the Super Training Ground. At this stage, Ronaldo found that the experience gained in the training in the Super Training Ground is more than the completion of the task. There are 7 days left until the next game. Ronaldo decided to use these 7 days to upgrade the heavy cannon skill to another level as much as possible. At that time, the shooting rate of about 30% can already allow this skill to be useful on the court. These days, Ronaldo didn't go there. As soon as the team's training touches, they will immediately return to the dormitory and practice. Even Ariela asked him to go to Paris, but he refused. On the one hand, for their main position, the other side, it's for revenge. These two things support Ronaldo, at least on the Super Training Ground every day, and the practice is completely immovable. Finally, in the 9th round of Ligue 1, Paris Saint-Germain away to Lyon 2 days ago, Ronaldo has finally upgraded. Hear that wonderful upgrade sound. Ronaldo couldn't help but laugh. Hardworking, he couldn't wait to raise the heavy artillery to the 2nd level. In this way, the skill, heavy artillery, increased his long-range shooting accuracy by 20%. Coupled with these days, Ronaldo constantly practices long-range shooting. The footwork of the long-range shot has also improved a lot. Even if he didn't have heavy artillery skills, his long-range shooting accuracy was 15 or 6%. If you add heavy artillery, the hit rate is about 35%. Full blasts outside the box, such a hit rate is already good. Episode 63. A Gentleman's Revenge is tomorrow. Lyon's new manager, Remy Gauld, who has only arrived this season, attaches great importance to Paris Saint-Germain. At present, Paris Saint-Germain has 5 wins, 2 draws and 1 defeat in 8 league matches, and has 17 points, ranking 2nd in the league. Montpellier took 18 points and was temporarily in 1st place in the league. Lyon also have 17 points, with a goal difference behind Paris Saint-Germain and 3rd in the league. The league has gone on for 8 rounds, and for the time being, there is no obvious championship group to distance itself from the teams behind. However, Remy Gauld knows This season's Ligue 1 title is between Lyon, Montpellier, and Paris Saint-Germain. Therefore, the next round of the league will be a direct dialogue between two rivals for the title. This made Remy Gard take this game very seriously. After all, Lyon invited him to coach in order to win back the league title. Lyon are arguably the best big clubs in Ligue 1, having been the first team in the 5 major leagues to complete a 6-game winning streak. They used to be the hegemony of Ligue 1. However, over the years, Lyon's strength began to decline somewhat, but they are still a force to be reckoned with in Ligue 1. Therefore, in preparation for this match, he sent his assistant, Brianla, who was once the head coach of Lyon's youth team, to study the video of Paris Saint-Germain's match. Paris Saint-Germain was not weak in the original lineup, plus the capital injection of the Qatari consortium. Their strength is even higher. However, Remy Gard is not more concerned about the stars Paris Saint-Germain bought this season. It was the Celestial Empire player who came out of Paris Saint-Germain youth and scored 7 goals in 5 league matches. I don't think he's anything to worry about, Remy. Burian looked at the kid in the video, and he already remembered who he was. Isn't this kid the same Celestial Empire kid who came to us to ask for trial training? How did he get to Paris? 7 goals in 5 league rounds is actually this guy? Burian felt like a ghost. Does he believe that Ronaldo, who couldn't even deal with the central defenders of the youth team, is now so powerful? Fortunately, now Ronaldo is tied down, much of the French press says so. Montpellier's 3-dimensional defense gave all French teams a reference against Ronaldo. Moreover, it is a very feasible model, Burian felt. At this moment, this kid can't have such a crazy performance. I'm still lucky. If Ronaldo continues to perform like that crazy, Burian didn't dare to think about it. At that time, he let go of such a genius, and even humiliated the other party, which will definitely be dug up by the media. Now, if Ronaldo can be as embarrassed as the last game, he felt much more comfortable in his heart. On the training ground at the Paris Saint-Germain training base, goalkeeper Sirigu lay on the ground, did not look at the football inside the goal behind him, but turned his head to look outside the box and was stunned. The others also basically made a move with him, turned their heads and set their eyes on the person who had just shot from a distance, Ronaldo. Even the expressions on their faces were highly uniform. They grew their mouths, their eyes were round, and their necks were stretched like turtles. Assistant coach Bertussi, who served as interim referee, was so frightened that he forgot to blow the whistle. Ronaldo, who was watched by everyone, didn't care so much. He jumped up with his arms raised. Yay, he finally has a goal-scoring weapon other than headers. After several days of high-intensity training and upgrading with superhuman willpower, the skill of heavy artillery can finally be applied in actual combat. So he tested it today in a game within the team. It was a shot that was a full 30 meters from the goal. A very beautiful long-range shot. The football almost did not arc and rushed straight to the top right corner of the goal. Goalkeeper Sirigu struggled to save and didn't even touch the ball. It's not that he doesn't have enough strength. It's Ronaldo's shot that is too fast. Great power. He saw that Ronaldo was shooting with his feet. Then with a bang, the football came in front of you. Where he still has time to save, it would be nice to be able to react. And this foot angle is also very tricky. It's almost a 10-point corner. That's why the PSG players were so surprised. Previously, Ronaldo showed a super header in training and was a mess in other aspects. Just after everyone accepted Ronaldo's setting, he suddenly burst out with a powerful long-range shot. Can this not be surprising? You know, Ronaldo never tried to shoot from distance in a match before. He knows exactly what level he shoots from distance. Don't say it's a long shot. Ronaldo's shots in the box were all a mess. And now, see the football whizzing and crashing headlong into the goal. Ronaldo's heart is so cool. When it was most needed, the heavy artillery was launched. Why is it most needed? Just look at Kevin Gamero standing on the field. Yes, the French striker has made a comeback. It's time to join the team's joint practice. This is not good news for Ronaldo. However, what he holds in his hand, he will definitely not give to anyone, not even your own teammates. This is Ronaldo's temper. The starting position is his, and he doesn't want to give it up easily. He's very utilitarian. He doesn't play for the bench. Can't start. It's just failure. In order to be able to consolidate his position, he certainly has to have something that impresses the manager. It's like he was leaning on a header. Now, what he has to rely on is his own long-range shot. Moreover, the opponent in the next round, he must start, he must score. Because, the next round is to face Lyon. 10 years is not too late for a gentleman to take revenge. But if you press for 10 more years, you can't wait 10 years. Lao Tzu will clean up Lyon tomorrow. Ronaldo clenched his fists. The insults, mocks, and teasings that I and my father received in Lyon. These things are always in Ronaldo's heart. This revenge will not be rewarded. Lao Tzu is no more. Episode 64. Lyon vs Paris Saint-Germain. This is definitely the highlight of Ligue 1. Paris Saint-Germain arrived in Lyon a day early. When they came out of the airport, countless reporters poured in. Ronaldo is undoubtedly the focal point. Everyone wants to know what he can do when he failed to score in the last round, and Kevin Gamero is in the squad this round. Ronaldo looked as usual. In the face of the reporters' noisy questions, he did not respond to any of them, because he felt that there was no need to respond. Instead of fighting lip service, it is better to shut everyone up on the court. Moreover, Kevin Gamero's inclusion in the squad for the competition also gave him a sense of crisis. He knows if he doesn't score soon, Combuere could replace himself at any moment and replace him with Kevin Gameros. That's for sure. The role of a striker is to score goals. If you can't score a goal, that's poor performance. Strikers who are not performing well, of course, are going to be replaced. Ronaldo is well aware of this. On the day of the game, at the Olympic Park Stadium in Lyon, inside this large stadium with a capacity of 60,000 people, at the moment, it is raining outside the stadium. There is a trend of increasing rain. It stands to reason that if it is a rain fight, it is beneficial for Ronaldo to go 3 ways and play a header. But Combuere doesn't have much bottom in his heart at the moment. Montpellier was able to force Paris Saint-Germain to fly with a close-fitting press. Lyon was able to do the same. If Ronaldo can't receive a cross from the wing, he can only use him as a bridgehead to create opportunities for others. However, in this way, the rain battle may limit the attack of Paris Saint-Germain. Therefore, the result will not be known until the middle of the game. Former Lyon youth coach and current assistant coach of Lyon's first team, Brian sits in the dugout. He looks like it's business as usual. The game had just begun, and his eyes could not leave the Celestial Empire on the field. He didn't know what the names of the Celestial Empire father and son were. But the moment he saw Ronaldo, he knew that this kid didn't run away. It really surprised him. The kid who was teased by him at the beginning is now reunited in the League One arena. Moreover, he also confirmed one thing: the other party clearly knew him, and from the moment he walked out of the player tunnel, he set his sights on himself. There was naked excitement in those eyes. What is this kid excited about? Burian scratched his head. The head coach Remy Gard, who was sitting next to him, looked very relaxed on his face, sitting in the dugout, watching the game with his legs crossed. The race has just begun, and although it is still raining, it is a little less rainy than before. At the moment, on the pitch, the two teams are in a stalemate. For the time being, no one has been able to create an attack that threatens the opponent's goal. Ronaldo slipped under his feet and stumbled. He was going to rush forward to meet his teammates, but his teammates passed too far back. He made a sudden stop and wanted to come back, a movement that was normally not difficult at all. But the road is slippery on a rainy day, and it makes him embarrassed. He sat directly on the ground. Fortunately, the drainage of the stadium is good and does not accumulate water. However, the turf on the court became very soft after being soaked by the rain, and even if the spikes were passed, the grip was not strong. Ronaldo got up from the ground and habitually patted his butt, but his hands were full of mud and he couldn't shake it off. Rain battles are really not fun. The televised footage captured the image, while also switching the frame to Kevin Gameiro sitting on the bench. 10 minutes into the game, but Ronaldo's performance was silent and the two teams were deadlocked. Narrator Daniel Leo said, "Judging from the situation of the game between the two sides in these 10 minutes, you said that this is a boring 0-0 draw, and I will definitely not refute it." 10 minutes later, neither team has yet to shoot. Daniel Leo was just thinking about it when he saw Ronaldo jumping in the box. Means cross. But in order to bypass the defenders, he still passed high. Ronaldo tops the ball, but barely at the bottom of the ball. High. Lyon also apparently referenced Montpellier's tactics against Ronaldo in the last game. This makes Ronaldo very useful. Burian smiled when he saw the scene. Seeing that Ronaldo was not threatening, he felt more and more that his original decision was the right one. This person, staying in Lyon, I am afraid that he will not even be able to play in the youth team. Ronaldo's performance is very low. In the media gallery, reporters commented on the past 10 minutes of the match. Paris Saint-Germain can't send a good cross. Lyon's cross is very successful. Yes, once there is no steady stream of crosses, Ronaldo is really good to defend. The field is a bit bad, the ground penetration in Paris can't be played, the attack is not threatening. I guess Lyon is going to brew a counterattack. When Ronaldo found it difficult for his teammates to get the ball into the box through crosses, he decided to try shooting from distance. There wasn't much time left for him. If he hadn't scored in the first half, Combuere would have let Kevin Gameiro on after the break. There are still more than half an hour. In this time, he has to enter at least one. A long pass from the back, Ronaldo gave the ball to Pastor. If he had been before, he would have rushed into the box and received a cross. But this time, he continued to retreat and appeared outside the box. As soon as Pastor got the ball, Lyon's defense was attached and he was not allowed to dribble. At this time, Pastore saw the retreating Ronaldo in the vacant position. Without having time to think about it, he passed the ball out. Seeing the football roll over, Ronaldo didn't stop the ball, but direct kick volley, 27 or 8 meters from the goal, shoot straight from a distance. At the moment when Ronaldo drew the football, he slipped his supporting foot. The body is deflected, and the result of this long-range shot can be imagined. The football was high and floating, flying directly into the second floor of the stands. There was a burst of laughter in the stands at the Olympic Park Stadium. There are also people gloating and whistling. Ronaldo lay on the ground, very embarrassed, plus the jeering of the fans in the stands. His long-range debut this time can be said to be a complete failure. Episode 65. Boom. In addition to making the home crowd laugh at Ronaldo, this kick also seemed to hit the morale of Paris Saint-Germain. So, when the 22nd minute of the game, Lyon's black striker Gomi slammed the ball into the Paris Saint-Germain goal with a counterattack, and celebrated his ugly zombie crawl to the cheers of the audience. Paris Saint-Germain up and down, whether it's players, coaches, fans. The faces are ugly. The match was too bad for Paris Saint-Germain. Playing away from home, there was also bad weather. Ronaldo, the striker who scored goals in previous games, also didn't look in good form. These disadvantages add up to no hope of winning. Conceding goals is to be expected. Even if a team of the Spanish Super League level such as Barcelona or Real Madrid comes to this stadium, it is not possible to say that it can keep a clean sheet against French giants Lyon. Not to mention Paris Saint-Germain, although a little depressed. But after conceding the goal, the PSG players also knew that they had to show it in attack. Ronaldo did not believe in evil, although he hit a plane, but today he was on the bar with a long-range shot. Anyway, today Lyon did not give Paris a chance to cross from the wing. It is better to open the situation with a long-range shot first. So, he kicked again. Outcome. It's high again. The taunts written in the stands are very clear. Woohoo! This voice sounded in the stands. Ronaldo didn't know what it meant. He thought it was just boos from the home fans. Boos will come from home, which is no big deal. Ronaldo has never been the type of person to be influenced by boos. But, beside him, Mean frowned. Ronaldo didn't know, but he knew exactly what it meant. Lion fans are imitating the calls of monkeys. They treat everyone who is different from their own race as monkeys. This is racial discrimination. Racial discrimination in France is very serious. Even Gomi, a French striker who had just scored, was once poured coffee by a white Frenchman while going to a restaurant. And Ronaldo, as an East Asian race, naturally received this treatment. This happened to his friend, which made Mean feel a little uncomfortable. Ronaldo noticed Mean's frown, and out of concern he asked, "What's wrong?" Mean didn't know if he was going to tell Ronaldo what that cry meant. Mean thought for a moment, or decided not to tell Ronaldo the meaning of this sound. He felt that this was not a good thing, and Ronaldo was not happy to hear it, and saying it might affect his mood and state. Nothing. Mean shook his head and walked away. Ronaldo looked at the stage suspiciously. In the next game, as long as Ronaldo gets the ball, this sound will sound. Woohoo! It's very annoying. This is too much. I think if the live sound of this match gets out, the whole of France will be disgraced for it. The commentator Daniel Leo said very dissatisfied. And Ronaldo is not a fool. It didn't take long for him to understand what the voice meant. After a jump in front of goal and landing, he saw the Lion fans behind the goal. They whined while their hands kept pounding their chests, mimicking the movements of monkeys. He instantly understood what it meant. This is the legendary racism. I didn't expect to see it myself. Nimas. Ronaldo cursed in his heart. Very good. The Lion Club offended me once. The fans of Lion also offended me once. You asked for it. Ronaldo began to constantly storm the Lion defense. The huge advantage of the body puts a lot of pressure on the defenders of Lion. Their defenders are visibly constricted in the box, preventing Ronaldo from heading the ball closest to the goal. And when Ronaldo saw such a scene, the corners of his mouth couldn't help but smile. He did it on purpose. When the game is played for the last 37 minutes, Paris Saint-Germain was given a chance to attack. Mean and Pastore sat on a 2-on-1 combination on the wing, and after breaking through on the wing, prepared to cross from the bottom. Usually at this time, Ronaldo will definitely be in the penalty area, ready to jump and compete for the top. But this time, when Lions defenders were ready to fight Ronaldo to the death, only to find out their opponents ran outside the box. Ronaldo is standing outside the big penalty area, 2 or 3 meters away from the top of the arc, and he is raising his hand for the ball, asking for the ball outside the box. Is he going to head from that place with a header? Crazy, huh? Almost everyone who knew about Ronaldo had questions in their minds. Mean saw Ronaldo raise his arm and also froze, but he passed the ball right away. Ronaldo is unguarded at the moment, and his rotation in that position may make a difference. Is he going to shoot directly? Someone in the media gallery in the stands raised such a question. No one answered him, because everyone was watching inside the stadium with full attention, paying close attention to what might happen next. The football flew fast and came to Ronaldo in an instant. I saw Ronaldo jump, but instead of heading the ball, he stopped the football with his chest. Seeing his action, many people who were still looking forward to it before were suddenly disappointed. They still thought that they could see a beautiful world wave. Who thought it was a chest stop? Ronaldo missed the best time to shoot because when he stopped the football, a Lion player rushed right from behind him. He has been targeted. What to do in the face of close defense? Some people choose to pass the football out, some choose to rush a kick, some people simply overwhelmed and have the ball broken. Ronaldo's choice is go head-to-head. Coming up from behind him was a rising French centre-back star, Umtiti. He pounced directly on Ronaldo, hoping to use his body to interfere with his shot. The football is falling from chest height. Ronaldo did not control the ball further, but clamped his arms to protect the football in front of him, and then directly pinch your ass backwards. Umtiti, who pounced on Ronaldo, was knocked away by Ronaldo with his ass. Everyone only saw Umtiti pounce and then be bounced off again. Then Ronaldo raised his right leg. After topping Umtiti, Ronaldo now doesn't have a Lion player around. He picks up his right leg, and the ball just falls to the right height. Ronaldo slammed his foot towards the football. When his feet touched the football, some people even saw a flash of light from it, fleeting. The football followed like a missile, from completely stationary to sharply accelerating forward, whistling and flying towards the goal. Lions goalkeeper Hugo Lloris clearly underestimated Ronaldo's shooting power when he saw the football flying over and made a save. It's late. The football whizzed and knocked his hand away, changed direction slightly, and then bounced into the net. The woo-woo sound that sounded from the moment Ronaldo received the ball came to an abrupt end at this moment. Episode 66, now believe it. When Ronaldo received a pass from Mean, the entire Olympic arena seems to have been transformed into a monkey zoo. The whining sound is noisy and irritating. Lion fans, in this way, mocked Ronaldo, who hit the plane twice. However, there is silence in the stands of the stadium now. Hugo Lloris fell to the ground, and the football was already in the net. It rained heavily. Rain crackled down from the sky. The whole world seemed to become the sound of raindrops hitting the earth. The stands, where the fans had gathered just now, suddenly fell silent. They are like quacking ducks that suddenly have their throats pinched. Everyone craned their necks and looked at the football rolling inside the goal in disbelief. Boom. Lions assistant coach Brian was a little intimidated. He swallowed his saliva, as if it would calm him a little. Then he saw a scene that scared him even more. Really? It's a madman, Brian Nan said. Only to see Ronaldo after the goal turned and ran under the stands in the area where Lions fans were most concentrated. Then, put your finger to your lips and signal them to shut up. Woo. As a result, the Lyonnais were clearly outraged. They made a louder noise. You fucking yellow-skinned monkey. Want to eat? Bastard, get out of France. I fucked your fucking dermatitis last night. Brat, no matter how arrogant you are just a monkey. Monkey, the swear words of the French fans were overwhelming. Obviously, Ronaldo's actions were completely adding fuel to the fire. Their teammates hurried up and pulled Ronaldo away. If the gang in the stands loses their minds and rushes to the pitch, I'm afraid this game will cause a big accident. Well done, this kick is so beautiful. How did you bump that tie away? With an ass? They slapped Ronaldo's head, shoulders. Celebrate to the fullest. A nice long-range shot. Ronaldo's airborne shot and he helped the team equalize. Beautiful. Nice goal. It's just that after one round, Ronaldo has found the feeling to score again. This time, no longer a header, but a long-range shot. He scored his 8th League One goal. Well done. Umtiti is a rising star in centre-back over the past 2 seasons and has been hailed as the future centre-back core of the French national team. But Ronaldo just pouted his ass, really just cut his ass, and knocked him away. The commentators are crazy. It seemed that he simply pouted his ass and squeezed out such a big black man as Umtiti. Such a power is really terrifying. In the media gallery, the media from Paris cheered, and the media in Lyon are gloomy and ugly. Before the end of the first half, the equalizer was equalized, and no one would feel comfortable with it. After celebrating the goal with his teammates, Ronaldo returned to his own half. He turned his head to look at the coach's dugout in Lyon. He saw that Burian at a glance. The influence that this man left on him was too deep, because he had humiliated himself and his father. He vowed revenge, so this guy's appearance was always remembered by Ronaldo. He was very vindictive. Instead of running straight back to his own half, Ronaldo circled around and came to the Lion dugout, then shrugged his shoulders at Brian and made a regretful face. As I said, it was your loss to let me go. Now believe it. Burian certainly also knows what Ronaldo means by this action. He didn't expect that this kid was so vengeful, and what happened a few months ago was still remembered in his heart. This bastard. Burian's face quickly turned the color of pig liver. What else makes people feel more humiliating by being punched in the face by the parties? Ronaldo's actions completely angered Lions players and coaches. They didn't know about Ronaldo and Burian's grudge. They only thought that Ronaldo was provoking Lyon. So, the players on the bench at Lyon were furious. They rushed up angrily, ready to give Rona a little more color. Paris Saint-Germain's players certainly couldn't let their teammates suffer. They also quickly rushed up. In the twinkling of an eye, the players of both teams are entangled. It became extremely confusing. 2 minutes later, under the pressure of the referee, things finally calmed down. Several extremely excited players were shown yellow cards. The initiator, Ronaldo, did nothing. This big guy really has a personality. On the commentary table, Daniel Leo shook his head and said. Burian sat in the dugout. Although the situation calmed down, his face was very ugly. Well, after this game, all the media will probably be chasing and asking why Ronaldo did this at the coach's dugout at Lyon. Well, all of France knows that Lao Tzu knows no one and has released a peerless genius. Burian's face became more and more gloomy. However, he still didn't believe that Ronaldo had any ability, this long-range shot. It's good luck. That's right. It's luck. If it's not luck, how can this be explained? What this guy showed on the training ground of the Lyon team made Burian completely unmotivated to sign him. How can a guy who even scores a header deserve to play for Lyon? If you are lucky in a game, even waste can enter the world wave. So, the goal alone doesn't tell the story. Burian didn't see any good qualities in Ronaldo's game. Header? Totally limited by Lyon. Long shot? It's just luck. Episode 67, The Victor Who Stands Above. When the game resumes, as soon as Ronaldo gets the ball, there will be an overwhelming woo-woo sound on the field. He managed to anger the fans of Lyon. These people are now louder and more brazen. This scene made many people's faces ugly. Even the head coach of the Lyon team was gloomy when he heard this voice. Everyone knows what this represents. This is racism. No matter what the reason, it cannot be covered up. France is very racist, though. But this is a public place, And if this happens in public, I am afraid that the entire Ligue 1 and even France will be disgraced internationally. Therefore, the approach of the Lion fans is simply to push the team they support into the fire pit. But Ronaldo was calm. He did not make any radical moves under the stimulation of these fans. This made Combuer, who had been worried next to him, breathe a sigh of relief. And the commentator Daniel Leo also praised Ronaldo for his general demeanor or something. But no one knew that the first thing Ronaldo did when he entered the locker room at halftime was to find bananas. Generally speaking, football games are physically exhausting sports, and 90 minutes a game, plus the players cannot eat and drink enough to play, which will put an additional burden on the body. So, it's normal for the players to feel hungry after halftime. So, most clubs prepare a little food in the dressing room. Let the players fill their stomachs at halftime. These are mainly based on easily digestible snacks and fruits. At halftime, you can listen to the manager arrange tactics while replenishing a little energy. Bananas are one of the most common foods in the soccer dressing room. After all, soft and sweet bananas, easy to digest and not on fire. From a nutritional point of view, banana sugar can be quickly converted into glucose, immediately absorbed by the body. It is easy to supplement the energy of players. In the dressing room, bananas are easy to find. Ronaldo's teammates were outraged by the unfair treatment he suffered in the first half. As soon as she entered the dressing room, everyone came to comfort her. "Luo, don't pay attention to that group of bastards. They are all raised by a bunch of bitches," Drayle said indignantly. "Actually, most French people are not like this." Mean looked a little embarrassed. After all, it was his own compatriots who did this to his friends. Yes, this kind of thing is normal. Leave them alone. There are always some bastards present." That's right. It's just that Ronaldo is not as angry as everyone thinks. He just nodded and held a banana in his hand. But instead of peeling it and eating it, he handed it to Drayola. "Ah, thanks, no need, I can take it myself." Areola didn't like this very much, and felt that the taste of powder was not good. Who thought that Ronaldo didn't invite him to eat bananas? "Alphonse, when the second half begins, you help me hold this." Areola looked at the banana in Ronaldo's hand and was a little surprised. "What are you going to do?" Ronaldo smiled. "You'll know in the second half." At the beginning of the second half, the whining sound in the stand still did not disappear. The atmosphere of the stadium became a little eerie. It was as if it was a group of monkeys watching the game, not the fans. Ronaldo is still chasing goals. At halftime, Camber confessed, and the team launched the attack with Ronaldo as the core. The ground quickly advanced to the wing, and the two fullbacks took turns making crosses. In the second half, the two fullbacks, Garrett and Maxwell, had more opportunities to perform. They take turns plugging in and crossing. Maxwell was excited because the tactics were back to his favorite set. As a fullback, his favorite way of attacking is this. Ronaldo was in the front, he could see it at a glance, like a beacon on the sea, and he had confidence at once. The scene is slippery, but Paris Saint-Germain's wing attack began to come alive, thanks to that long-range shot from Ronaldo. At this moment, the Lion players did not dare to completely let go of Ronaldo and went to pounce on the cross. In this way, Paris began to have more crosses. The football was passed to Ronaldo's feet. Ronaldo gets the ball at the top of the arc of the box, and as soon as the defender comes up, he is ready to do the same, pushing the opponent away and shooting. He already had 3 such shots in the second half. 1 foot of airplane, 2 more feet hit within the range of the doorframe. Had it not been for Hugo Lloris' godlike save, Paris Saint-Germain would have overcome. So, this time Lions' defense was like a big enemy. Ronaldo turned around, and 2 players stood in front of him, blocking his shot. Ronaldo immediately distributes the ball to the wing. Mean takes the ball, makes a gesture of cutting inside with the ball, slightly brings the defense to the middle, gives way to the space on the wing, and pushes the ball to the side. Maxwell immediately plugged in at high speed. The first time, he chose the cross, however, a slippery foot, ball. A bit high, yes, in the eyes of others, the high is a little outrageous. Good to go. Ronaldo joy. Such a ball is just right for him. He immediately ran towards the back point. Right now, Croatia's center-back Lovren, as well as the new French international Umtiti, all rushing to the back point. In the high-altitude ball defense, Ronaldo is the absolute focus. Lovren rushed forward with an arrow. Immediately after, Umtiti also jumped. Ronaldo jumped long ago. The 3 collided in the air. The whining sound suddenly increased, because Ronaldo jumped the highest. He's on top. Underneath was Lovren, and the Croatian international now felt like a dark cloud was hanging over his head, making him completely unable to see anything. Umtiti was also unable to confront Ronaldo in the air. It's nice to be back in the air. The wind ruffled Ronaldo's hair. At the same time, football is coming. Ronaldo took advantage of this momentum to move from football to football. In the air, Ronaldo heard more clearly. Woohoo! This is the voice of the fans of the Lion team. The sound was so violent. This shows their despair is so strong. It's just a death throes. Ronaldo shook his head viciously, and almost vented all his anger on this attack. The football slammed down from the air. Hugo Lloris jumped up. As a French national gatekeeper, his save reaction is extremely fast, but fast. Nor is this ball fast. He could only watch as the football ran through his fingertips. The rain seems to have stopped. The ball flew into the net. Ronaldo seemed to be flying in the air. At this moment, he is the victor on high. Episode 68. Eat the bananas, monkeys. Maxwell cross. Later, Ronaldo appeared at the back point. Jump high. Oh, what a high header. The ball went in. Inside the Olympic arena of Lyon, the shrill sound disappeared in an instant. In the eyes of goalkeeper Hugo Sunset, the football crossed the tip of his finger and flew into the goal. Goal. The commentator Daniel Leon jumped up from his seat and shouted with his arms raised. He finally saw Ronaldo's header again. That's how Ronaldo scores. Pretty unreasonable. Run riot. Domineering. Filled with an indescribable aesthetic of violence. This big man's goal always arouses the emotions of the audience. Hooray! In the stands, the few Parisian fans let out a huge cheer. Suddenly, all you can do is hear them in the stadium. As for the voices of racial discrimination, already beaten silent by Ronaldo's goal, in the dugout, Combuware jumped up excitedly. Ahead, they have a chance to win Lyon. This is a crucial battle on the road to the championship. This victory is worth 6 points. After Ronaldo landed on the ground, his body paused slightly, and then he turned and ran to the bench. Watching him run over, the teammates on the bench naturally wanted to hug him. Everyone gathered around. Ronaldo grabbed Ariela. Quick, banana. Only then did Ariela remember that he still had a banana in his hand, and he didn't know what Ronaldo was going to do, so he quickly handed it over. After Ronaldo took the banana, he squeezed out of the crowd again, and then he ran to the most concentrated stand in Lyon, and the one that booed him the hardest. The group behind him didn't understand what he was going to do. The live TV camera closely followed Ronaldo's back, and then whether it was live or in front of the TV, everyone saw it. Ronaldo peeled the banana and reached out to the stands where the Lyon fans gathered. Monkeys, Laozi fed you bananas. The Lyon fans froze at first, and then they reacted right away. Ronaldo is provoking. They had been constantly mocking Ronaldo as a monkey with a whining sound, but they forgot that only monkeys called that, so they all became monkeys. You yellow-skinned monkey. Have the ability not to let me see you on the streets of Lyon, damn it. Damn slut. Go back to your filthy home. France is not something inferior like you can come. Groove Nima. Don't be too arrogant. Bananas race their own PY. Bastard, there are bigger bananas in the crotch of Lao Tzu's pants. A group of French people were simply mad and shouted everything. The stands fell into a riot. Others looked ready to climb over the stands. Coins, lighters. These things rained down from the stands. But Ronaldo didn't mean to dodge in the slightest. He raised his head and pointed the banana at the group of guys who had taunted him for dozens of minutes. Don't you like to whine? Then eat bananas. Monkeys. This was given to you by Uncle Ronaldo. The riot-proof police were also taken aback, and they held their shields and blocked between Ronaldo and the stands. There were also police officers holding batons, and any fans who tried to climb over the stands were pulled back with a merciless stick. The fans of Lyon are crazy. His teammates and 2 players were crazy too. He had never seen anyone like that. The first to rush to find Ronaldo was the Lyons players. They surrounded Ronaldo and pushed him away. They believe that Ronaldo's doing so is disrespectful to the fans and a blatant provocation to Lyon. At the beginning, the Parisian players who planned to go up and pull back Ronaldo saw the movements of the Lyon players and did not do it. The Parisian players also rushed up and caught up with the Lyon players. Look at your people. What does his celebratory gesture mean? Look at your fans. What they've been doing all the time. You're all fucking deaf and can't hear, are you? Do you all turn a blind eye to such things as racism? The coach and bench on both sides also cursed each other. In the end, Ronaldo was pulled away, but before pulling away, he threw the banana in the stands. It's kind of feeding the monkeys. Want to laugh at me? Who is mocking whom now? Ronaldo was pulled to the coach's dugout in one breath, and Camber hurriedly grabbed him. Calm down, Luo. I'm calm, sir. Ronaldo still had resentment on his face, but he still said so. Combuware had a terrible headache. I haven't talked about such a player. Ronaldo was only 18 years old, but he vaguely remembered the talented but unruly geniuses before him. Such people are the most difficult to discipline. Camber patted him on the shoulder. After your game is over, won't you play the rest of the game? Don't be too impulsive. Be careful of being sent off with a red card. Ronaldo nodded. I'm done, sir. So you don't have to worry about anything. After saying that, he turned and ran away. Seeing him reappear on the field, the stands were filled with boos, deafening, and almost the heart almost stopped. Ordinary people really can't stand such a spectacular scene. But Ronaldo ran into the stadium with his head held high, completely ignoring the angry fans. Looking at his stubborn back, Combuware shook his head. This kid. Either become the brightest star in world football, or simply. Burdened by the surname, he had super abilities but could not use them, and he was defeated. There will never be a middle way. Combuware has coached so many players that he can imagine what Ronaldo's 2 futures will look like. Episode 69. This is the end of angering Ronaldo. With 2 goals from Ronaldo, Paris Saint-Germain beat Lyon 2-1 away from home. The win gave Paris Saint-Germain a 3-point lead over Lyon, and with Montpellier yet to play, Paris Saint-Germain topped the table for the first time this season. But whether it's Paris Saint-Germain topping the table or Ronaldo's 2 goals in the game, none of this is the focus after the game. The The focus of the discussion is Ronaldo's celebratory gesture after the goal, and the reaction of the Lion fans. As soon as the game was over, Ronaldo was surrounded in the mixed zone, and the reporters said that they would not let him go and that they must answer questions. May I ask Luo, how did you come up with the idea of using it? Well, use bananas. The reporter himself did not know how to say such a topic, and he tried not to use the word racist. I heard a bunch of monkeys calling, and I thought they must be trying to eat bananas. Ronaldo's answer surprised many journalists. They thought Ronaldo would lash out at racism and then shout out about it. Who thought that Ronaldo was so tough and fought against the Lion fans until after the game? Still next to Galette added, this is because the fans of Lion have always raced Ronaldo. Even if the opposing fan does this, then may I ask Luo to make such a response? Radical? The reporter asked Garrett. This sentence was asked to Galette, but Ronaldo snatched it up. Excessive? You were robbed while walking, and you fought back in self-defense. The police came and did not arrest the robbers, but they thought you were defending yourself too aggressively. What do you think of this? He asked rhetorically. The reporters realized that the question was stupid. Maybe it was a hidden racial complex in his heart. Ronaldo also ignored the speechless reporter who was asked by him and raised his arms high. It's actually very simple. The Lion fans attacked me all the game, so I scored 2 goals in the game and helped the team beat the team they supported. I think the expressions of those fans must be wonderful now. Anyway, I am very cool now. You can write it like this is the end of angering Ronaldo. After saying that, he turned and left the mixed area, leaving a group of stunned people. Such an arrogant person, even the most experienced journalist has probably never seen. Who does he think he is? Oh my god, he really can say such things. Actually, I think this title is great. I decided to use this sentence as a title. I think I've kind of liked this kid. Journalists then reacted mixed. Some denounced Ronaldo for being arrogant, while others praised Ronaldo's straightforwardness. The protagonist is gone, and the media can only pull the other players and listen to their opinions on the matter. Pastore expressed their protest to the media. What happened on the field, I think everyone saw and heard it. This approach by Lion fans is very bad. Such a thing as racism should disappear from the football field completely. Pastore also came forward to agree. I hope the referee will be able to write this in the match report, which is very shameless. In the post-match press conference, Cambert also angrily attacked the behavior of Lion fans. This is a shame on French football. How can such a situation be allowed to appear openly on the football field? As for Ronaldo's reaction, Cambert naturally supported his disciples. I think Ronaldo's response is normal. There can be no way for anyone to be without a little anger after being besieged for the whole game. He is still an 18-year-old and his actions may not be what we want, but the fault is definitely not him. It's about those provocative fans. The Football Association should severely punish those fans, and my players. There is no problem at all. Racism is a big problem, and the stadium crime that FIFA has been fighting includes this. So as long as racial discrimination is involved, it is basically one-sided. No one would dare to stand up for the fans, and even the Lion manager criticized the fans. I don't think they represent the fans who really love Lion. These people are not welcome in any team. The excitement is always after the game, while the media was hyping up what happened in and off the stands of this game. The Zatini Club St. Petersburg also issued an official statement expressing strong anger and condemnation of the scene that took place in the stands of the Olympic Stadium. When we are faced with some ugly phenomenon, we are always used to silence. But there are some things that are silent and inappropriate. Something like that happened in the Zenit and Lion games, and we don't think the stadium is a place for racist activities. These things will make you forget the wonderful scenes of the game. We also know that there are a lot of fans who really love football, and we believe that most of the fans respect the players. So for something like this, we hope that both the French Football Association and the Lion Club can take it very seriously. Racism on French football pitches is very serious, but that doesn't mean it can be tolerated. The media also lashed out at what the Lion fans did, and of course some felt that Ronaldo's response was not calm enough, and he intensified the conflict. The French Football Federation quickly imposed the penalty after the match. The French Football Federation was also shocked by such blatant acts of racial discrimination. The Lion Club was fined €500,000 for racist behavior by its home fans, as well as 2 home bans, in which no fans were allowed to watch the match. That is to say, when other teams go away to Lion, there are only away fans, and there are no home fans, and the stadium stands will be empty. Such punishment is not unsevere, but also shows the attitude of the French Football Federation, that is, it will never tolerate racial discrimination. This matter was solved, but many people realized through this incident what kind of person Ronaldo was. He was definitely not the kind of person you slapped him and he himself was beaten. Even if he didn't respond at first, it was because he was waiting for an opportunity and wanted to find trouble with the other party. Lion fans took their own shame because they lacked the right understanding of Ronaldo. Photos of Ronaldo rushing to them to feed bananas after the game made headlines in major media outlets. Now the whole of French football knows that there is such a guy. He is unruly, he is young, he dares to confront the extreme fans who booing him, and provokes the fans who are racist against him with bananas. Of course, he's also very good at scoring. A long-range shot, a header is quite beautiful. Such a powerful character suddenly appeared without everyone's knowledge. When a strong opponent like Lyon clashed, he scored twice, and one person solved the French giants. One newspaper wrote, "The French Premier League may not change because of such a guy." Episode 70. Ronaldo's great contract. Beautiful. Ronaldo's long shot. 10 corners, Maxwell cross. Back point. Ronaldo again. On television, Ronaldo's highlights of the game are played. In the room, everyone's attention was no longer there. "I think the club should give him a good contract," Combuer said as he stood up and faced the team's sporting manager, Martinez. "The winter transfer window is coming soon, and I think when the winter transfer window comes, he is free to negotiate a contract with any team, and the club will not let go of such a center forward who can score 2 goals against Lyon." Martinez frowned, but his agent's asking price is too high. Combuer isn't actually worried about that. He wants to keep Ronaldo as steady as possible and not let him be distracted by contracts and transfers. After all, Paris Saint-Germain's current striker can be regarded as this big man from the East. Combuer is also counting on Ronaldo to continue to play well, so that the new leader of the team has no chance to fire himself. As a manager, he certainly wants to lead a team like Paris Saint-Germain, because this team is rich enough to allow him to win some titles in his coaching career. League 1 champion, Europa League winner, even Champions League winner. If he had the chance to win the European title, Combuer would no longer be a coach who was only known in France. He can be called a handsome. At that time, even if he can't continue coaching in Paris, he will have more and better places to go. "If we let Ronaldo go, we would not be able to buy such a center forward for even 50 or 60 million euros in the transfer market," Combuer said. He is not exaggerating at all. Now there are fewer and fewer pure centers like Ronaldo. How important is such a strong center to a team? With him, the team can have a fulcrum and a bridgehead when attacking in the front. With him, the team's offensive means are more diverse. With him, the team also has a way to crack it when facing the iron barrel formation. In short, a good strong center is very important to the team. Since the center forward has appeared at Paris Saint-Germain, Combuer certainly does not want to let him go. He also knew that Ronaldo's first contract was too chilling. With such treatment, it is indeed quite difficult to keep Ronaldo. He firmly believes that after this half-season, the name of Ronaldo, the whole of Europe will know. At that time, Paris Saint-Germain wants to keep Ronaldo, which is simply to face the competition with the giants of all Europe. It's a disaster. Everyone has their own interests. Martinez also has it. At this meeting, Martinez did not clap, because when it comes to the contract of a player with a salary of 150,000 euros a week, Martinez does not have direct authority. After concluding this meeting, Martinez immediately approached Leonardo, the team's general manager, with materials from the meeting. Leonardo did not like Combuer, though, but he is not a fool either. After all, Ronaldo's performance is there. If he doesn't renew his contract this season, he will leave for free next season. Paris Saint-Germain doesn't want to pass up this opportunity. In that case, then, give him this contract. Leonardo clapped. 150,000 weekly salary. Too much or not much? For Paris Saint-Germain, definitely not much. 1. Can use 150,000 to keep such an 18-year-old strong center. Paris Saint-Germain definitely offered this price. Moreover, after the Qatari consortium takes over, it is foreseeable that the lineup in Paris will change greatly next season. When the time comes, the weekly salary of 150,000 yuan is probably not the top salary in the team, Leonardo thought. Soon, Ronaldo received a call from Paris Saint-Germain asking to talk about the contract. Ronaldo laughed when he heard the news. He loves to hear about his raise. How many people in this world don't like money? Ronaldo liked it very much. He now has little money left except necessary expenses and sending home to pay off debts. Prices in France are very expensive. Otherwise, why would he be so desperate? I want to ask you, how many years are you going to sign a contract this time? 3 years? 4 years? Or 5 years? I don't want to sign too long. Although League 1 is the top 5 leagues, the attention is much lower than that of Premier League La Liga. I want to go to a bigger league, Ronaldo said. Understood, then. 2 years. The agent who turned into Alexander nodded and said. However, when the two sides made contact again, they were stuck in terms of age. Paris requires a minimum of 4 years of contracting. Ronaldo, on the other hand, stuck to a 2-year contract. Of course, the club could not have agreed. 2 years? How is this possible? Ronaldo is 18 years old this year, and not 38 years old. How can he only sign a 2-year contract? Martinez was incredulous about Alexander's offer. He had never seen such a shameless agent. 2 years? Does he have the face to say it? 2 years later, Ronaldo was only 20 years old. 20 years old. Does Paris want to be the unjust boss? What can be done about this? The two sides are deadlocked again. Ronaldo's response is simple and straightforward. Very effective. On October 3rd, Paris away to La Liga powerhouse Athletic Bilbao in the second round of the Europa League group stage. Ronaldo completely conquered the away team with a header, scoring 2 goals to give the team a 3-2 away victory in the group stage of the Europa League. On October 16, in the 10th round of the league, Paris beat Ajaccio 3-1 away, and Ronaldo scored a goal. On October 21, in the 3rd round of the Europa League group stage, Paris Saint-Germain beat Bratislava 1-0 away, and Ronaldo scored the team's only goal. On October 23, Paris beat Dijon 2-0 at home in the 11th round of the league, and Ronaldo scored another goal. Successive victories allowed Paris Saint-Germain to gradually throw away the distance from second-placed Montpellier. They are now number 1 in the standings, throwing off Montpellier by 4 points. Paris began to rush away from the Ligue 1 halfway title. And Ronaldo? 11 league rounds. Without playing in the first 2 rounds, he scored 11 league goals, and in the Europa League, he also scored 4. Counting the Europa League qualifiers, Ronaldo has now scored 19 goals for Paris Saint-Germain. This number of goals made Ronaldo quickly become a star in Paris. The theme of the media in Paris every weekend is Ronaldo scored again, Ronaldo scored again. Ronaldo's powerful long-range shot pierced the opposing goal. Ronaldo's idea is simple: if you don't sign with me, I'll keep scoring, either by agreeing to my conditions, or I'll go to another team. It's that simple. In the end, it was the Paris Saint-Germain club that could not hold on. December 4, Ligue 1 round 16, Ronaldo scored a hat-trick against Auxerre, counting his 12th round against Bordeaux, the 13th round against Nancy, and the 15th round against Marseille. He each scored a goal. In the league, Ronaldo already has 17 goals. In the Ligue 1 standings, he far surpassed the 13 goals of the second place in the Golden Boots table, Giroud, 4 goals ahead of his opponents. Moreover, in the Europa League, Ronaldo scored a goal in the 4th round of the group stage against Bratislava, but in the 5th round against Salzburg. In the Europa League, Paris Saint-Germain won all 5 games and qualified from the Group 1 round earlier. At this point, there are 3 league rounds left before the winter break of Ligue 1 and the final match of the Europa League group stage. At this time, throughout Europe, the media of many countries began to discuss Ronaldo. Almost every week, I see reports about Ronaldo in England, in Spain, in Italy. Moreover, Manchester United's continued offer of Ronaldo has also begun to make Paris Saint-Germain unable to bear. When the media began to report that Manchester United's price for Ronaldo had risen to 40 million, these conditions Alexander put forward, Paris all met. 2-year contract, 150,000 weekly salary, 10,000 euros appearance fee, 10,000 euros in goal prize, 20,000 euros in winning prize. In addition, the club rented him a house in an upscale residential area in Paris. There is also a signing fee of 2 million. There is even a car. This is the sponsor of Paris, Land Rover's Discovery 3. When Ronaldo saw this contract condition, he couldn't keep his mouth shut. It turns out that Alexander, this agent, is very powerful. There is a problem. I can't drive. Ronaldo touched his chin and said. Learn, Alexander said.